We can't overstate how important it was 5 years ago that over 66% of the population agreed with us and wanted to have abortion accessible in Ireland for everyone who needs it. But we know at least 775 people, women, have not been able to access abortion and have had to travel. So we know the legislation right now is causing barriers. And today, and Breed Smith's bill and People Before Profits bill is about getting rid of those barriers.
We voted overwhelmingly in favour for abortion. This included safe access zone legislation, which we're still waiting for. Abortion law needs to be centred around access and care. By waiting to make necessary changes, the government is knowingly and actively hurting us.
And our Taoiseach is uncomfortable about promises that he made to other cis men in that building. He should be far more uncomfortable about the promises that he made to us that we are still waiting for 5 years later.
I want to say to every single person here, congratulations, we did actually repeal the 8th Amendment. It is our job to keep the pressure on, and we are going to have to do that until this law is made workable for everybody who needs an abortion.
The recommendation has come forward from the barrister Mary O'Shea, who did the review. The government are saying that the bill that has been put forward by People Before Profit Solidarity tonight, they want to put it in the freezer for 12 months. And what that means is that they want to delay making any decisions on this issue until after the next general election. And we need to remember that we won repeal through struggle, organising in our communities, organising in our schools and colleges, in the workplaces and out on the streets, because it's clear that we're going to have to light an absolute fire under these people if the progress is to be carried forward.
I think we've all been at so many protests outside these gates on this issue. The one that I'll certainly never forget is the one that put the 8th Amendment in peril. And that was the night that we all heard the news of the tragic death of Savita. You could feel the electric charge going through the air. Such was the anger. You would think that any humane government would respond to that tragedy and repeal the 8th Amendment. But no, we had a huge popular movement that forced the establishment to concede a referendum, and we won that referendum. We can marvel at what can be achieved when people unite and move. It's an unstoppable force.
The lethargy that the government are displaying means that we are going to have to get back out on the streets again, getting people from up and down the length and breadth of the country to march on this place and reinvigorate the movement that we saw during repeal is going to be absolutely necessary. And the government don't want to face this issue before the next election. They're afraid of their conservative backwoods people who they rely on to vote for them. And this is a political football that they're making out of healthcare for women, girls and pregnant people in this country, and that has to be said to them again and again by a mass movement that will again take to the streets.
We will only accept free, safe, legal and local abortion care for all. The lack of abortion service provision in many counties creates huge travel, logistical and financial burdens for those seeking care. Women's healthcare should not be subject to criminal law. No other healthcare procedure is subject to so many legislative barriers. And allow compassion. Those parents dealing with the trauma of fatal fetal anomalies should not be subjected to the further trauma of travel for healthcare. Care must be provided at home.
Over 2/3 of the electorate, in one of the highest turnouts of a referendum in our history, voted for repeal. So this is our victory. It does not belong to the politicians in Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. It belongs to Miss X, to Miss C, to Miss Y, to Miss D, to Miss A, B, C, to all of the women who were dragged by this misogynistic and brutal state through the court. It also belongs to Savita Halappanavar, who died, who lost her life because of the 8th Amendment. And it belongs to the bravery of her husband and her family who allowed her story to become public. If we join the struggles together, the struggles against the far right, the struggles for every person to have a decent home, the struggle for bodily autonomy, for decent healthcare, education and welfare, if we connect those struggles with the struggles for women's rights, just what could we achieve in this country? What sort of country could we make where every person is welcome, every person has a home, every person has bodily autonomy?